The MOS of an 88 Mike in the United States Army is a motor transportation operator. Now before we dive into this brief summary of this MOS, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also enable notifications so that you can join the notification platoon and get notified as soon as new videos go live. So let's dive into this brief summary. This was my MOS when I was in the Army. I did do a video that kind of talked about like what the lifestyle was like as an 88 Mike, but I'm kind of revisiting it as like an MOS Monday style video to give you the details that I normally give in other MOS videos that wasn't included in that kind of like lifestyle as an 88 Mike video. So now let's kind of get into some of the requirements, the training and all that stuff for being an 88 Mike, starting with the job duties. So those primary duties of a motor transportation operator in the United States Army are going to be things like operating wheeled vehicles, convoy operations, load and unload, as well as transporting supplies and more. This MOS is available for active duty, National Guard, and Reserve. That is going to require either a high school diploma or a GED, as well as getting a qualifying score for the Army on the ASVAB. Now specifically to qualify for an 88 Mike in the United States Army, you're going to need to score at least an 85 in the Operations and Food section of the ASVAB. The Operations and Food section of the ASVAB come from 4 subjects of the ASVAB. That is going to come from word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, auto and shop, and mechanical comprehension. The training to be a motor transportation operator is going to include the normal 10 weeks of basic training, and then from there 7 weeks of AIT at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Now as an 88 Mike, your primary duty is to, drive these vehicles, transport supplies, whatever the case might be. So there is a wide range of vehicles that an individual as this MOS would be driving, anywhere from a Humvee all the way up to the very large HET vehicles. Now with this MOS, you pretty much have a job whether it's in combat, in the field, or just back in garrison. Back in garrison, you're doing things like, picking up parts for the mechanics, just doing general maintenance on your vehicles, sometimes just little things around post where maybe they need you to transport something from one end of the post to the other end of the post or whatever the case might be for that. And then when you're in the field, you're transporting supplies, ammunition, other vehicles sometimes if you're working in larger units that have, sometimes the Abrams or maybe even Bradleys, and you have to put them on a HET vehicle and transport them out to the field sites. And then when you're in combat, kind of a similar thing as training, you're moving supplies, you're moving vehicles maybe that are having to get moved around. So it will involve a lot of driving as well as, kind of managing the cargo that you're hauling, having to strap it down, having to get it loaded, and then having to get it unloaded. Now as far as jobs outside of the military, it doesn't directly transfer over to a CDL, the license you need for driving like a big rig, but it does in different states kind of help out. In a lot of states, it will kind of waive having to go to the school, and you'll simply just have to take the driving test because of your military experience. But it is not going to just automatically transfer from your military experience into getting directly a CDL license without at least having to take a test in most cases. So some people, get out of the Army and get some kind of transportation job, being a truck driver and all that kind of stuff. It is different driving a truck in the military compared to the civilian world, because in the military, sure, the maneuvering part is going to be the same, but the actual physical driving in the military, it's push button usually. You're hitting D for drive and, going, whereas in the civilian world, you have a stick shift that you have to manage with like a ton of gears on some of those semis. Me personally, I did not get out and be a truck driver. I, used my military experience to go elsewhere and be an instructor. So, that always kind of apply for 88 Mikes as well, either in the transportation world or simply just using that military knowledge and experience to get them some kind of other type of job or even going to school, which I did as well. So that is the MOS of an 88 Mike, a motor transportation operator. If I have any fellow 88 Mikes maybe out there that are currently in the Army as a motor transportation operator or previously were in the Army, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you liked and what you didn't like about the MOS. Now since that was the MOS I was in, I guess I can give you some of the things that I liked and didn't like about the MOS. As far as things I liked about the MOS, I didn't really mind too much like the transportation of moving stuff around and kind of being the one to manage that kind of aspect of things, I guess. The things I didn't like about it was a lot of times, like especially in Iraq, for combat zones, you had to do a lot of night missions to haul barriers and everything, and I didn't really like the long hours that sometimes came along with doing the job. If you have an MOS out there that you're interested in, make sure to leave it down in the comments, as I do look to the comments to get inspiration for the next episode of MOS Monday, so leave those suggestions down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you show some love, hit that thumbs up button. Check out the links down in the description to my social media as well as a P.O. box. Thank you so much for watching this MOS Monday episode. I'm ThatChrisChaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.